microphones to Professor Alex Asido to lead us.
All right, good evening, gentlemen of the press. This forms preliminary statement on our observations for the Anambra Gubernatorial elections that are still ongoing as it were. The Anambra State Gubernatorial election, one of the off-season elections in today's Nigeria's electoral calendar, held across 21 local governments, 8th of November 2025. The election held as scheduled in a relatively peaceful atmosphere and amid heavy deployment of police and other security agencies. We have noted the general climate of peace in the build-up to the elections. Recall that in our pre-election assessment, we raised concerns on the preparedness of INEC logistics, security, and the role of political actors in delivering a free, fair, credible, inclusive, and conclusive elections. The following are the preliminary findings from our field observers deployed across the state. Time of arrival of INEC officials and materials and commencement of voting. Reports from our field indicate that INEC officials and materials arrived late in many polling units, resulting in late opening of polls in many polling units and centers. In about 68% of polling units, INEC officials and materials arrived between 8:25 to 9 a.m., while in about 31% of polling units, voting commenced much later, between 8:30 and 10 a.m. CTA notes that INEC is there to resolve its logistics challenges, as earlier highlighted in our pre-election press briefing. Despite assurances from the resident electoral commissioner, observers reported that logistics arrangements, including vehicles deployment, were inadequate. In some instances, hired vehicles for the election refused to pick up other INEC officials to polling units, making the initial drop-off further contributing to delays. Our observers reported that due to security reasons, INEC was forced to relocate voting in 5 communities of Azia, Osumoru, Mbosi, Ubulu-Isuzo, Iseke, and Ibu to the headquarters of Ihiala local government area. Voter turnout through conduct of voters. Voter turnout was generally low. Reports from our observers indicated that low turnout in many polling units have been influenced by voter apathy, security concerns, and doubts about the credibility of the electoral process. Some of the citizens showed lack of interest in the elections. One of such experience was at demonstration primary school at Abuoka in Oka South, where our observers reported a church program going on simultaneously with voting. We charge citizens to take civic responsibility very serious. INEC take civil and voter education very serious to educate citizens. However, CTA commends the citizens for conducting themselves peacefully and in accordance with voting guidelines. Presence through performance of security agents. Generally, observers reported that security personnel behaved and conducted themselves professionally, except in Ihiala local government headquarters, where one of our observers reported an incident that happened between 6:30 a.m. to 7:51 a.m., which resulted in an injury to her foot as a result of the activities of some overzealous police personnel. This has been escalated to the police authorities. Our observers report that in 90.4% of the polling units, there were at least 3 security personnel in deployment. There was also reports of no security personnel in 9.4% of the polling units, such as in Orumba North, Oko Ward 1, polling unit 031, no security at about 9:46 a.m. Also in Anambra West, Orometiti Anam, Umuche 007, At about 10:34 a.m., no security personnel was present. CTA notes with concern the inadequate welfare arrangement for police personnel deployed for the Anambra election by the police leadership. Some police personnel complained that they had nowhere to bathe and sleep and slept in open fields since they arrived in Anambra. Some also complained that they were yet to be paid their allowances, except the 1,000 budgeted for snacks for police by the INEC. 1,000 naira. Performance of beavers through conduct of INEC officials. Our observers reported that INEC officials, in line with the electoral guidelines, gave preferences to pregnant women, nursing mothers, persons with disabilities, and the elderly. Reports from our observers across polling units showed that the beavers worked well in over 80% of the polling units, except for a few cases where some voters were not accredited by beavers or whose names were not in the register where they presented themselves. There were reported cases of ad hoc staff closing polls and announcing results at 2:19 p.m. as against INEC's stipulated time of 2:30, an action which may have disenfranchised some eligible voters. However, as at 4:48 p.m., 3,861 results have been uploaded to IREV, representing 67%. Conduct of political parties and political party agents. Political parties and their candidates played a noticeably limited role in strengthening the electoral process during the Anambra elections. Many of the political parties failed to deploy agents to several polling units, leaving the process largely unmonitored. Reports from field indicated that only APGA deployed 100% to the polling units, APC 93.8%, and Labour Party 37%. CTA presence of political party agents at polling units not only creates gaps in transparency, but reflects a deeper problem of lack of commitment of politicians to invest in credible electoral practices. CTA charges political parties to actively deploy agents, engage in robust voter education, and take concrete steps to strengthen the and credibility of the electoral process, considering that they are the main beneficiaries of the electoral process, both buying and selling. Reports from observers indicated that in many of the polling units, both buying and selling was becoming brazen and was a major feature of the Anambra election. Vote buying also assumed a new dimension: cash transfers, food vouchers, name and account details collation. In some cases, these acts were perpetrated in full public glare and in the presence of security personnel. Given the mutative nature of vote buying and selling, the phenomenon appears far from being eradicated from the polity. INEC and security agencies and other stakeholders need to work out measures to effectively address this ugly phenomenon. Conclusion. As the collation process continues, we urge all stakeholders to continue to conduct themselves in a peaceful and responsible manner. Specifically, we call on all stakeholders to hold themselves to the highest level of neutrality and accountability. We hope that the collation process will be concluded in a peaceful atmosphere. We commend the media, election observers, and the police and other security agencies for their professional conduct so far. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, thank you, Prof. We'll now also yield the floor to the Executive Director of the Center for Transparency and Advocacy. If you have further comments to make, then we can take them along.
I just want to add that on the field today, I saw something I have not seen for a very long time. Some voters refused to vote because they were negotiating how much they were going to sell their votes. We went to a particular polling and we saw a lot of young persons. They were just standing around. So we just asked, they said these people will say they will pay 3,000. We want them to increase the money before we can vote. So you can imagine that. And we had the report from another, one of our observers who is dropped on the conversation that some of those party agents were having. one of their supervisors came and was admonishing the party agent that was on ground. I said, why are you giving people 2,000 naira? We gave you more money than that. Where people are watching you. So, you know, I was kind of heartbroken because at the end of the day, it is citizens that are collecting this money. If citizens are not demanding money from politicians, I don't think that we would continuously have this issue of vote buying. And then when you talk about some of the polling units where we were, saw that we had invalid ballot papers, you see that the political class seem not to be ready to, you know, invest in this system that benefits them. They are not sending party agents to the field. They are not also engaging in voter education. Remember that yesterday we mentioned that at the central bank where sensitive materials were distributed to the 21 local government areas, out of the 16 political parties, we saw only 7. And today again, we are seeing that out of the 16 political parties, there were not up to 7 political parties that had at least 1 party agent. In some cases, when you find party agents on the field, and you're having like 5 polling units, they have just 1 party agent that is overseeing the 5 polling units. So you're asking, you go to this polling unit, you're asking, who is the party agent there? As soon as the party agent hears from the other end, he will run to this place. I'm the one that is overseeing this. So imagine that at the end of the day, they have to go to court. It is that 1 party agent that will have to give information about that. There's need for us to pay attention on the political class, and that's why CTA is really looking at the role of the political class in our election. So we are looking at party campaign financing. We are looking at the role of political parties and their personnel as it's, you know, and its impact on the electoral reforms that we have. I don't know if Dr. Mecca, we have heard from CGD and all of that. The person, our observer that got injured is a woman. Had led, I wish I can actually show you the pictures. Maybe I will send it around to some of you later. We have at Ihiala. Yeah. At Ihiala local government headquarters, that was where the incident happened between 6:30 and 1 this morning.
Okay. My concern here is about the welfare of Nigerian security agents that are deployed to monitor the elections. Whatever misgivings that against the Nigerian security agents, they are our brothers and sisters, and they are on a special and national assignment. It is not good, it is wrong, it is ignoble for a policeman to be brought from Enugu, Adamawa, Lagos, and kept stranded in Enugu because he is on a national assignment. This is at the heartbeat of our democracy, and we shouldn't punish Nigerians who have been deployed to do this service for the fact that they are here to do elections. At the end of the day, we turn back to blame them. I think they have displayed some level of professionalism here by not overreacting, because in some cases it would require for them to say, no, we are not continuing with this situation. We have a whole lot. My own concern is about even the states not making adequate provisions in areas where, like schools that are used as rack centers, fencing them, providing basic amenities that will make life a little bit comfortable for Nigerians who have been deployed to do an assignment. Let's think of it, if you are the one on that assignment, there is no way you let your families and let the comfort of your home to be in the open air for 2-3 days without anybody talking to you. And I think it is very important for the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for INEC, for the Nigerian Police Force and all the sister agencies to look deep into this and find a lasting solution. I am also worried, so worried, that the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers and Nigerian Union of Road Transport Owners and other agencies that lease vehicles to INEC don't monitor what those drivers do. For God's sake, those vehicles are hired for a day, but they do only drop off and remain there while leaving ad hoc staff and other people stranded in rack centers, leading to late opening of pools. These things, media, please help put it in the national front burner so that we can move forward. That's my simple intervention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anambra. We just have some draft and some advice from
Okay, thank you. For me, the point made about the security is of importance. And the importance of that point is that if you expose your security expert to such vulnerability, it becomes commodity awaiting purchase by politicians. So if you are putting 1,000 naira to redeploy or to send somebody from wherever he's based to say this is your allowance to buy snack for an election, and a money bag from the political class comes around and puts a higher price, you can on your own imagine what you are exposing the whole exercise to. I think more concretely in terms of what we do. And sincerely speaking, if we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, it's of no use militarizing our election. Do we just have a system where people just stroll in quietly and they leave? But the question is also that the political economy of everything about power in Nigeria is that there is a link between access to power, or if you like, say power and access to wealth. Those who are rich in the country are actually those who have accessed political power. So for the kind of fight you see all over the world, all over the country for political power, there's a direct correlation between power and access to wealth. So we need to find a way to disentangle these two things. And if they continue the way they are now, the danger of that is that politics will continue to have no rules nor referees. That's the simple the challenge that we all face in Nigeria today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. If you have one or two questions, so that we can wrap it up, so that you can also go for the other activities.
Just text up.
All right. Okay.
Just give us a
Okay, then that's fine. Please, we have some small water.